This video should provide a generalized umbrella overview of arithmetic topics from beginner to mathematician levels. Remember to take it at your own pace and that the improved sections are optional. If you decide to try some activities, consider creating a schedule where you stick to rigorous time frame. For example, practice arithmetic every day before or right after work for 15 minutes. Set a timer, and when it goes off, stop. There are no tests or quizzes. Just by showing up consistently every day or every other day, you will notice patterns. It's through these patterns that arithmetic will begin to make sense. Beginner level. This stage of arithmetic comprehension is about recognizing patterns from counting. There are 4 patterns that receive significant focus in American math education today: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. I will include concept videos of each later in the series. To improve, spend more time counting and skip counting. Be sure to include counting backwards as well. Often, this does not take place when skip counting. If counting this way feels easy, try with an offset. Ask questions as you count. Do multiples of 2 always end in an even number? How many odd multiples of 3 are there between 0 and 100? Between 0 and 1,000? Or between 0 and 10,000? Try to find questions you don't know the answer to and work to convince yourself they are or are not true. If you're feeling confident, share the solution with a friend, but be ready for them to offer additional insights. Mathematicians make mistakes and false assumptions too. This is why we have peer review process. Others will help point out mistakes, which will help refine the approach. Try to develop an environment where mistakes are okay and welcomed. This is where learning can happen. Dump out a bag of Skittles or M&Ms. How many of each color? How many in total? Once you're satisfied with the speed, get a larger bag. This can also be done with other items too. Organizing and categorizing have an arithmetic feel to them. Do more arithmetic. There are a lot of arithmetic apps that provide practical problems. Start with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division for numbers 0 through 99, as in 99 is the largest value. Once confident in these answers and pleased with the speed, try numbers 0 to 999. Then try numbers 0 through 9,999, and so on. Note that counting one by one will take significant time for larger values. Find unique ways to get to the answer faster. For example, skip count or find closer relations. Try not to look up answers on how to make the calculation faster. It might feel tedious, but going slow is important to facilitate connections. You'll piece together the patterns on your own. Trust in your ability. Intermediate. This stage is a step towards identifying new patterns outside of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We call these operations, and there are a lot more than just 4. For example, absolute value, modular arithmetic, exponents, factorials, permutations, summation, Using these tools, we can explore a concept called sequences, like Fibonacci numbers, triangular numbers, square numbers, harmonic numbers, lonely numbers, and many more. I will provide more context for some of these arithmetic operations in later videos. To improve, find accurate ways to reduce calculations. For example, any number that ends in an even digit is divisible by 2. Can we find similar patterns for other multiples? Keep in mind that if you're not rigorously providing these results, it's possible the pattern you are seeing will not always be true. To reduce the margin of error, consider if the pattern is true for any number greater than 1,000,000 or less than 0. What happens if we combine two operations together? Do they stay consistent? Can we perform the operation in any order? To explore algebra consistently, these questions are required to answer thoroughly. We will touch on them more in future videos. Find new ways to group numbers. The way we arrange numbers impacts our perspective greatly. Using the items in the surrounding room, try to visualize the operations. Playing video games can help with spatial visualization. This could also help improve the way you view groups of numbers. There are a lot of false claims on the internet about tips and tricks to make calculations faster and easier to memorize. For example, though the finger method easily calculates 9s, does it always work? What about numbers greater than 100 or 1,000? Generally speaking, this level can be improved if you ask, does this pattern work for all numbers, or is there a specific range? Remember, you have your whole life to explore these concepts and ideas. The purpose of this is to provide you with research terms and introductory questions. Take your time. There is no rush and no test. Advanced. Algebra allows us to combine multiple arithmetic operations into a single equation. The advanced category is a call-out to the fact that algebra is mostly arithmetic, with some additional rules and guidelines to ensure consistency. Before we can have consistent results, we need to define a few things. However, I will define those in another video, as it deserves its own spotlight. To improve, try to remove known variables in arithmetic calculations. It's things like you have 100 Skittles, 10 are blue, 5 are green, and 30 are yellow. How many are orange? It's still counting at its heart, but really what we're doing is we're trying to gather more information with the information we have. For algebra problems, it is common to have known answer and need to fill the gaps elsewhere. This is where we start to get into more rigorous mathematical concepts. To stay true to the theme of the course, I will talk more about this section when we discuss algebra. Mathematician level. It's possible to get a PhD in the concepts discussed here. One such field of study is called number theory. If you find arithmetic interesting from a generalization standpoint, you may enjoy number theory. However, keep in mind that number theorists use more than just arithmetic to do their work. They experience a wide range of mathematics before choosing their specific field of study.